Hello YouTube, it's Truly Living here, and I'm sorry, I know it's been a long time since I posted anything, but I moved out to Wyoming and I moved back to Oklahoma, and I was really struggling with my wall of awfuls, which we're going to talk about today, because I came across a video by How to ADHD for the topic, and it was called Climbing the Wall of Awful, or something about the Wall of Awful. Can't remember what the title was right now, but it's a very good video and I recommend you watch it. I will put the link in the description, and this is just going to be kind of like me continuing on with what I've taken from my own experiences in climbing the wall of awful before I even knew that there was a metaphor for this issue. And again, the ADHD, that's why I'm now taking notes, because my mind gets off topic and then I cannot figure out where I was anymore after I had that car accident. My memory's been a little messed up, I'm not going to lie. So I've taken to trying to organize myself so that I can actually achieve my goals and do the YouTube and, really get to help people, because it stresses me out that I've got this goal and I've got this drive to do what I want, and that is to help you guys do what you want to do. But for some reason, I struggle so much just getting on and making these videos, but it's something I really want to do and it's something I really want to achieve, so I'm going to have to work extra hard at it. Anyway, climbing the wall of awful. And some of these are notes. It says, when we do a simple task, like for me calling the insurance company, adulting, taking care of bills, anything that has to do with me talking to another human being about money, makes me freeze up, and I don't want to do it. I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to touch it. I want somebody else to do it. I don't even want to try to climb the wall of awful sometimes. And as they say, it's like a wall of emotional failures, or rather perceived failures is what I add, because your perception matters a lot when it comes to the wall of awful. If you look at some of the wall of awful and you decide, oh, well, that's not too bad, those bricks are going to disappear because it's all in your head. A lot of things are all in our head. Anyway, it's rather your perceived failures. Your personal view can make bricks failure disappear. Like magic. The brain is a powerful thing. That's what I added and what I wrote. And here, and I've taken notes, my handwriting's awful, but I am going to show you. I've drawn out the bricks. Now, we've got multiple bricks. We've got the bricks of failure. Alright, so that's the first one. You get failure, because, you're just staring at it still. And then from failure, you get disappointed from yourself and from others. So even if it's just perceived failure, that somebody else is seeing that you failed, or somebody else is thinking, oh yeah, they did bad, and so I'm disappointed in them. If that's just you thinking that they're thinking that, even if they're not, that's going to add a brick of failure, because it's your perception. Worry of rejection will result in a brick. So we go to disappointment to rejection, because if the disappointment results in rejection, you get a bonus blockage. And from rejection, you get worry, because now you're worried. Worried, now that they rejected me, You're worried about the rejection, you're worried about disappointment, you're worried about all of them. So you get like a worry block for all of those. I mean, if you're like me. Perception strikes again, dun dun dun, in my notes. Pile up makes these walls seem impossible. Or impassable. Now, the man on the video named Brendan, these were some of his tips. Staring at it doesn't work. Trust me, going around it is impossible and infinite. So these are the different ways that you could like pass the wall, and not all of them are good. Staring at it doesn't work. Going around it is impossible and infinite. It's a metaphor. You're not getting around it. You can hulk through the wall, but that means allowing anger in, which damages and affects our relationships. Like, fine, I'll go clean the kitchen. Whatever. Or, oh my gosh, just shut up about it. Like, leave me alone. I'm stressed. You know what I'm talking about. Like, that's hulking out about it. Let's be like, whatever, fine. Get it over with. But in the end, you'll end up leaving more damage than there was before you started. So that's not the best option. In this video, I'm kind of rehashing. Who's you haven't watched it, I do recommend you go watch it, because they're gonna have like better wording than I am, and I'm gonna go more in depth about certain things and about things that I've done after I've gone over this and like refreshed my own brain. They've got their instincts. Hulk smash is fight, going around is flight, and staring at it is freeze. Climbing can look like staring. So when you're actually climbing your wall and you're doing your emotional work, it's like you're looking at it. You're going, how am I going to approach this? How am I going to do it? You're trying to like get your ducks in a line so that you can, move on with your life. Like, you're sitting there, you're kind of dragging it out, but at the same time, you're about to do it. You're just gearing yourself up to go. Doing the emotional work, or sitting with dread, climbing the wall, whichever way you like to put it. Sitting with dread is sort of like the pessimistic way of looking at it, and doing the emotional work or climbing the wall is the more optimistic and lighthearted way to look at it. And sometimes it's just mental exhaustion, and you need like a little bit of rest before you really get going. As far as climbing a wall of awful, things that have really helped me is trying to remain optimistic, trying not to think that others are going to be so disappointed in me, try not to stress that, what others are going to think. Try to just do the best you can and live the best you can as you. That wall of awful, it's stressful. It's like whenever things pile up and you don't want to do it. You don't want to do it all. Like, I got here, I drove in from New Mexico, from Wyoming to Oklahoma, and I got here and I cleaned and I unpacked my stuff and I hung up stuff and I cleaned and I sweeped and I mopped for hours. And I knew that if I didn't do it when I got there, I was never going to feel like doing it, and then I was just going to get comfortable, and then I'd never do it, because that's the reality of my life. And I'm going to be honest with you, as that I have a problem when it comes to that. And I think that being open about these things is going to help you guys as well, with your walls of awful. I'd really like to get to the point where I could come on live and like almost like therapy session for people. I'd love that. I just want to help you guys become the divine self, the most spectacular self that you can. They say that the wall of awful is especially hard for people with ADHD. Say we get distracted all the time. So it's like, oh, squirrel. And then you're gone. Oh, I'm back. Oh, what were we talking about? Oh, that's what we were talking about? Yeah. and I'm kind of rambling again. I took all these notes and I got on live earlier, and I think I used all of my good quality content talking on live to the one girl that was in my live on Facebook. I'm sorry, I'm so bad at videos. I'm trying to get better and more organized. I will be reading the Lost Books of the Bible for anybody that's interested in that, so that we can get more of these lost scriptures out there, because I do have a copy of the book. I'll be trying to upload more videos every day. I still done more rambling. I should get back onto the video. How to climb your wall of awful. I'm climbing mine right now on this video with you, because I don't like being on video and talking. I'm really shy, and you know, in my previous videos I mentioned I didn't have friends. I'm not used to speaking to people. I'm not used to speaking my thoughts. I'm not used to any of that. So this is like a hardcore struggle for me. I want to help people, but I'm so like standoffish. My family very rarely said I love you growing up. So that in and of itself says a lot. Very standoffish person, but I love people, and I love them for who they are, and I want to encourage others to see the good in each other. Like coworkers get frustrated with each other. I'm usually the person to be like, well, what do they got going on in their life right now? You know, they told me so and so and so and so is happening. And, you know, I heard that their granddaughter's in the hospital, and, you know, their husband's cheating on them, or they think their husband's cheating on them, or, you know, and you go over that and you get down to the nitty gritty, you know, what all led to this behavior. And I always try to do that. And I worked in developmental disabilities. So it's kind of like I get some of that's from that, and then also working in nursing for 5 years, you do notice behaviors, and rather than saying, you know, they're being erratic for no reason, I like to try to figure out, you know, the source as to why, as to, you know, what are the variables that led to this outburst, which is again hulking your way through, which is how they deal with their own emotional blockages. I think the reason I'm rambling on about this is I know this. There are probably some people on here that are watching us and don't even realize whenever they do these things, like sometimes I flip out and then I'm like, oh my gosh, what was that? You got your little observer self, you know, they're sitting over there, they're taking notes, they're being like, why is this person so upset right now? That's your reptilian brain, like your emotional brain. That's you like flipping out and going like, oh, I don't know what to do. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be here. It's you just flipping out. And then your more docile and observant self sitting over there either taking notes or being like, hey. Now, I really try to, after I have an outburst, I try to sit there and I try to go over every little thing that could have caused that outburst so that I can prevent myself from having another one of the same magnitude or of the same type. Being aware of your emotions and being aware of your emotional states and where your emotional states are coming from, which could come from childhood. It could come from early childhood. There's so many things when it comes to emotions because they're so strongly tied to our being, because they're one of the first things that develop is like our reptilian brain. That's our, you know, first little bit of ourselves. So think of it like the immature self. That's a good way to put it. Sorry, I'm thinking. I was on a good roll and then I lost it. This is real talk on that ADHD. Again, this is probably going to end up being like a 20-minute video. Now, back to the reptilian self and the higher self, or the divine self is what I'm calling it. I also like to think of it like the divine child. Who is the person? I'll frequently revisit this because this is a theme of my channel, is getting you into your divine self. And your divine self is who you're truly meant to be, or who you are before the world and its sins lays their hands upon you. So your divine self is the self from your heart and not from the outer worlds. So it's the self that wishes to act even against all things in the outer world. As in, it's true to your core and not true to those around you. So it's true from your heart and true to your soul. It is, in essence, you. What character are you? I like to think about it like when you were little and you imagined you could be anything you wanted to be. What kind of person did you imagine you'd grow up to be? Be that person. For me, personally, I always liked characters like Miss Honey from Matilda. Right? She's sweet. She loved the kids. She went against the rules to make sure that the kids got to have a lovely workspace. She went above and beyond for the children and made sure that, since Matilda was special, maybe she'd get some special education so that she could move on and really get her skills going. And I really admired Miss Honey, and I'm not gonna lie, I've probably based a lot of my own personality building off of characters like Miss Honey. I've also always liked the people that are a little standoffish, kind of awkward, but very loving and warm. And I really think that's just kind of ended up being kind of what I am, except for I'm a little bit more standoffish than I am warm sometimes, and sometimes I overshare things. But we're all learning in this world, and that's what this is. Heaven is on earth. Just have to make sure you're viewing it from the right lens. And I think you should remember that while you try to dismantle your walls. When it comes to your failure bricks, when you feel like you failed, just remember, have you really failed if you haven't tried? And there should be a brick gone. And disappointment. Have I disappointed myself for my lack of trying? So if I do it, will it disappear? Have I disappointed others for my lack of doing, or have I disappointed others for my too much doing? Do I feel as if I've disappointed them? Rather than letting that brick block your way, you should fix it. Don't let the brick dictate where you should walk. It's a brick of your mind. Walk through it and let go. Rejection after the fear of disappointment. So if you fear you disappointed something and they reject you because you disappointed them, that leads to worry, which causes another brick. Now if somebody rejects you because you disappointed them, as I said, if you follow the other step, you can make it up to them. Don't worry. They reject you because you disappoint them. Accept it. Own it. Yes, I'm sorry I messed up. I messed up. Sorry doesn't really cut it, but I'm acknowledging my mistake. Therefore, you're owning that brick. You're owning those bricks. And you're saying, yeah, I messed up. And it's here. And those bricks will go. Because you owned it and you let go. Now the worry brick. That's a tough one for some people. So you sit there worry about everything. oh my goodness, if I go swimming, what if I drown? You know? You take that worry break and you just go, you go, breathe in love and breathe out peace until that worry break disappears. And now you've conquered your wall. You've conquered your fear of the failure, the disappointment, the rejection, the worry. And you said, no, I'm walking through this wall and you can't stop me. It takes a lot of practice, but we'll all get there. So till next time, my people striving to learn to live truly. I'll see you again soon. Truly out.